coming to you undead from Elm Street in fictional Haddonfield with a beautiful view of Crystal Lake, the podcast where every day is Friday the 13th and every night is Halloween. You are listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray, part of the Core Temp Arts Podcast Network. Here are your hosts, Bloodbath, Bub, and Brett667, the neighbor of the beast.
Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray is the official horror movie podcast of the Core Temp Arts Podcast Network, coming to you from the Rose of New England. Core Temp Arts is the home of Let's Chat, That Pop This Life, Failure to Launch, We Got 5, and TV in My Brain. Go to coretemparts.com for more information. Rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes or listen on Stitcher, YouTube, TuneIn, and Google Play. And please hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr. You can even call us if you want right now. And that number is 201-8BGNBR0, translation 201-824-6270. Say some funny or witty shit, and we'll put it on the show. And if you're going to leave a message with us this week, we'll be talking about Dead Ringers next week, the David Cronenberg film. I'm really excited. Music, as always, is provided by the Slasher Film Festival Strategy and Nightbirds. And this is episode number 45. My name is Bloodbath.
And I'm Brett667, the neighbor of the beast.
I'm Bub.
And I'm HP Lovecraft.
Before we go into killer news, it's only fair that I mention I made a slight mistake last week when we were talking about Alien Resurrection. I brought up Gary Dordan, although I didn't bring up his name because I didn't remember it at the time. But anyway, my mistake was that I said he was on NCIS, but I was wrong. He was on CSI. Nobody called me out on it, but I looked into it and I was wrong. So there you have it. As you heard, Pete is with us today. He's going to be picking the trailer of the week in a little bit. But first, let's do some birthdays and upcoming films. For birthdays, Richard Donner was born on April 24th, 1930. He turned 87 this week. Donner, known primarily for films like Lethal Weapon, all of them, the Superman films, but horror fans love him for The Omen and Goonies. Sadly, this week, Jonathan Demme died at the age of 73. Demme, of course, directed the incredible Silence of the Lambs film, the first horror movie to win the Academy Award for Best Picture, and only the third film to win all the major categories, those being Best Picture, Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Actor, and Best Actress. Also known as sweeping the Oscars. He also directed the Talking Heads concert film, Stop Making Sense, the Manchurian Candidate remake, Philadelphia. Demme left behind a wife and 3 children. It is for him and his contribution to the genre that I am sweating my ass off in this Silence of the Lambs meeting right now on a warm April night. Jonathan Demme, dead April 26, 2017. You will be missed, and as horror fans, we thank you. Also, on April 27th, 1980, visionary Italian filmmaker Mario Bava left us at the age of 67. Throughout the 60s, Bava helped construct what will become the golden age of Italian horror, with films like Black Sabbath, The Girl Who Knew Too Much, which is my personal favorite of his, Planet of Vampires, Whip in the Body, Black Sunday, just entirely too much to name. He wasn't without fault. There are some of his films that are just nearly unwatchable. $5 for an August Moon is one of them. Lisa and the Devil in particular is another one. I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for saying that last one, but as far as new releases, Rupture is now available on video on demand, and American Exorcism will be released in an unspecified format on May 2nd. So, killer news. Bub, let's do it.
It's that time again. It's Killer News with Bub on Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray.
All right. I'm just glad that I got back from Fire Festival early, and I was able to do the show tonight. Did you guys hear about that thing?
No. Tell me about it.
Nope. Not really sure what's going on with that one.
What? You didn't hear about Fire Festival? Basically, Ja Rule made this festival in the island of Exuma. I guess it's like down in the Caribbean. And basically all these rich kids paid like $14,000 for a weekend pass. They got there. It didn't work out. It turned out like Lord of the Flies. That happened today. You guys didn't hear about that?
No, I didn't hear about this.
Yeah. They didn't have the food was like cheese on bread and like it's crazy, dude. If you read it, like kids are like tweeting like, please, you got to get us out of here. It's not what we expected. And it was supposed to be some like rich yuppie kid festival. and they got there, and it was complete shit.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
so basically, Bub, what you're telling me is it's Camp Krusty come to life.
Yeah, pretty much, you know? Like, the way these kids were tweeting, like, you gotta get us out of here. It was almost like, you know, like people were eating people or something, you know? Like, it sounded like a horror movie. You gotta look it up after you do this.
Did you,
All right,
but
I'm in. I'll
You
look
said
it up.
you said Ja Rule, correct? Did I hear that properly?
Yeah.
Anybody who pays $14,000 to beat fucking Ja Rule deserves to deal with some serious shit in their life.
Well,
It's
no,
murder!
Yeah, that's what happened when all those kids landed on that island. He was like, "It's murder!"
And I can't go on without you.
Yeah, man.
All right, so now
if they're gonna
serious.
pay for that, I will definitely sell them tickets to DMX's puppy fucking sales show. Like, seriously, like, come on.
All right, so I'll get serious now. So, this kid, Federico Rebuscini, has started a Kickstarter to fund a Cthulhu-based interactive horror novel. So, you know, basically, I guess it's like, you know, an H.P. Lovecraft thing, you know? And the book is going to, like, you know, basically develops differently based on your decisions as you read.
I used to love those books when I was a kid. Like, I used to go crazy for choose your own adventure stuff. And I think doing an H.P. Lovecraft thing would be fucking amazing. That's something I would totally buy. I would also love to buy an H.P. Lovecraft coloring book if it's available.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this Kickstarter seems pretty cool. You know, like half of the funds are gonna go to, like, you know, he's gonna donate them to like a cancer research thing. But you know, the other half he's gonna use to fund this book, and it's gonna be like, you know, if you think you should do this, skip to page 33. If you think you should do this, skip to page 55. You know, I think that's cool.
That's fucking cool as shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'll totally buy that. What do you think, HP? You gonna buy that?
Well, I don't know if I'm gonna get that. I did just get Call Cthulhu for kids, and it looks like a Dr. Seuss book. I sent you pictures of it,
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was fucking awesome.
but it reads like Dr. Seuss, but it's the whole story, and I read it to my kids, and I mean it's definitely.
Did they love it?
They were kind of like when, you know, the short story, the real one is awesome, and so when I read it to them, they're like, "Oh, that's kind of neat." that was it.
They weren't like, "Please, Dad, don't ever read us this again."
Yes. Like, that's a long fucking book, Dad. That's a long fucking book. I also bought like an Edgar Allan Poe pop-up book, and I read them The Telltale Heart. And when I got to the end, they were like, "I don't get it. What happened?" I'm like, "He gave himself. Don't you understand? He like gave himself up." Like, I don't. The pop-ups are really cool. I don't know. I don't get it. You know, but
Did you ever end up getting the Babadook book?
Yes, dude.
And that's worth it, right?
That thing, well, it's handmade, and it was. It's beautiful. Like, it's so well done. It was worth the wait, and it looks awesome. And I watched the movie again after my friend got it. Watched the movie again. Yeah, it was awesome.
I didn't even know they made that book. Actually, I want to try and find one of those. That's awesome.
Yeah,
It was pretty expensive, and it took a long time, because I remember asking Pete if he saw it, and he's like, "Dude, of course I've seen it." And I bought the book, and I bought it like 6 months ago, and it's still not here. And then a year went by, and he still didn't get it.
So it was like a fan thing, and after the movie, and it was done the same thing, like a Kickstarter, where they had to build it from scratch, or they were designing it still when I put my order in for it. So now it's already done. Like, they've already done all the pages. It's totally done. Now it'd probably be easier if you bought one now, if they are even selling them again. I don't know, but at least it's all done. So, for about a year and a half, I thought I was scammed. I was just waiting for their emails to stop coming, but it was awesome. It was worth it.
I definitely got scammed, I think, by a Kickstarter type campaign for the Kane Hodder documentary. I was supposed to get it back in February. I still haven't gotten it. I paid like $50, and I was gonna get the DVD signed and the book, because he wrote a book, and I was getting that.
What's the book called?
Unmasked.
Oh, dude, how do you not call it Twisted Cane?
I was supposed to get both of those and both of them signed, and I didn't get any of them. And I've been emailing them and stuff, and I gave up like a month ago. I was like, fuck it, I live and learn, I guess. I don't know. So that sucked, because I really wanted it. I love him. So and the weird thing is, like, and it's probably got nothing to do with him at that point, because I saw him, and when I met him at the horror convention in Williamsburg, I was asking him about it, and he's like, yeah, they said it's gonna be like February, or they said it was gonna be like done by December, but I really don't think it's gonna be done until February. So, but he's like, it's a really cool DVD. Thank you for buying it. And he gave me and my wife like a bunch of like free stuff at his table, just for like, he took pictures with us for free because he was charging people for pictures. That's how they make their living. I'm not, griping at him or whatever, but he's like, yeah, I'll totally take a picture with you and your kids.
That was a cool move, though. That was a cool
so
move.
I mean, he seems okay. I guess everybody else is shady. I don't know. So, what else you got, bub?
All right, so Stephen King's getting another paycheck this year. He's getting a lot of paychecks this year.
Oh yeah. What's this one for?
All right, for Firestarter. He's gonna do, I don't think he's really that involved, but, I like Blumhouse Productions. I like those guys, and they're basically gonna be doing the remake of Firestarter.
They're having a good year this year. They they're pretty solid. Between Split and Get Out, they're doing very well for themselves. It's been a good year to be part of Blumhouse.
You think they're gonna do it as like, Drew Barrymore all grown up?
Oh, dude, I'm watching the Santa Clarita Diet now. Have you guys seen that show yet? Santa Clarita Diet thing. It's on Netflix.
I haven't seen it. I read about it.
It's funny, but she's a terrible actress. Like, she was probably a great kid actress, like as far as like kid actors go, but like she cannot act her way out of a paper bag. It's terrible. She's the same person in every movie. It's just like Will Smith. Like, he can't act either. I don't know. That's my feeling on it. Brett, have you seen Firestarter? Were you into that or no?
No, actually I wasn't, so I don't really have much to reference for that. But I can agree that Drew Barrymore plays the same fucking character over and over again, so obviously my excitement for this remake is pretty dull.
She's like a flighty soccer mom. That's basically what she is now.
Well, she always played the friend that was cute enough to like jump on the grenade for, but not enough to actually hunt. Mm-hmm. So like she's just kind of boring to me. I don't really care much about her acting.
Yeah, her acting sucks. She looks very, very good. Like she still looks okay. I mean, I never thought she was like super attractive to begin with anyway, and it should be. I don't want to slag a girl for her looks. That's kind of mean, but in this case it's not, because she's still fairly attractive, but she is unbearable. Unbearable as far as an actress goes. I don't know how they keep putting her in movies. It must be really cheap to do it. I don't know. Pete, Firestarter? Yay, nay? Drew Barrymore? What are your thoughts?
Right. So I saw that when I saw it a long time ago. I only remember so much of it, so I don't have much on that. But Drew Barrymore, she's cute. She can, as long as it's a cute role with Adam Sandler, she can do it.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, agreed. She's perfect for Adam Sandler movies. Totally. The thing I remember most about that movie is thinking that it was just like way too much like Carrie. And
Yes, that's right.
I think I remember seeing it like when they did the second Carrie movie, the sequel, which didn't like need to happen. Which it was not a very good movie, and I think I saw both those movies around the same time and just not really liking either one. So there's that. What else you got, bub?
All right, so people are kind of complaining online over an A.S. Eggleston book called Freddy vs. Ash. It's on Amazon.com for $19.99. But you know what I don't understand is this girl wrote this book called Freddy vs. Ash. Mm-hmm. How did she do it? She doesn't have the rights to any of those characters. I'm sure no one approved it, and she just got this book published. It's just floating on Amazon.
You can self-publish now. My friend from college, he wrote a book. It's like a weird, like science fiction, sorcery and sword type of sword and sorcery. I don't know how to say it, but like I bought it because it might not be my normal thing that I read, but I try to be supportive of him. It's called Ash Avonia's Demon. I talked about it on a bunch of episodes ago. But I was like, dude, how'd you find a publisher and stuff? He's like, no, I didn't. I published it myself. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, he's like, yeah, and I'm publishing another one. It's actually really easy. Anybody can make a book now. I was like, oh yeah, anybody can make a podcast now too. I'm living proof of that.
But your friend's not gonna get sued.
No,
this girl's gonna get sued.
It's a totally original concept for him. Is she gonna get sued? I mean, at what point
she's gonna get sued?
I should buy it before she gets sued, huh? Well, they had that graphic novel that was Freddy versus Jason versus Ash, and it's impossible to find. I was asking Jeff to see if he could track it down for me, and he's like, dude, I mean, how much money do you have to spend on something like that? And I was like, never mind. I don't care that much about it. So I don't know. What else is going on in horror these days? I have some tidbits before we go into trailer of the week. And it's, let's see. David Fincher. There's a lobby to get David Fincher involved in the World War Z sequel, which the headline of the article is David Fincher is exactly what the World War Z universe needs. And what the world does not need is a World War Z sequel. I'm ready for that to be over, but okay. Good news on the front of anybody who's excited for The Nun. The actress who played the nun in The Conjuring 2 will be playing the nun in the spin-off, so that's good. Stoked about that.
Gotta love continuity on that.
Yeah, no, I like that. And she was scary. She was legit scary, so that's cool. They did show a picture of Helen Mirren for this Winchester movie. I don't know anything about the Winchester family at all, and I'm kind of hoping that Pete, you are I'm not trying to blow up your spot or anything, but you're like a pretty big gun enthusiast. You're into that sort of thing. So
yeah.
Do you know anything about the history of this family? Because I honestly don't. I've known for a while that this movie was coming out, and they're trying to get it out by this year, but I just don't know. I don't know anything about it. I just heard they were really weird. Do you have any background on that?
No, just from that's the first I had heard when you sent me that article. That's the first I had heard that. It sounded awesome. I'm kind of like, and I want to see it. I just kind of hope it doesn't turn into, see, guns are bad. Like, just
right.
to tell a horror story.
Tell a horror story. I got you. You're right. You're 100% right.
And it's definitely got such an interesting concept, and like Pete was saying, obviously I don't want this to go, oh, guns are, protect your kids. everybody gets killed by a gun is going to be the gun maker is going to be haunted by them. But fiction or not, I thought that was a really good concept for a film. And to give Helen Mirren credit, she doesn't just pick films for
no,
paychecks.
she's a great actress. She's really good.
The fact that she's actress.
Yeah. The fact that she's in it, like, I'm stoked because that actually elevates my excitement into it. Because what I would be a movie that may seem a little bit like boring to me, like, so I'm not a huge fan of like ghost story movies because they end up being really dry, you know, and it takes a long time for them to get started. And some of them are great, but for the most part, they're not my favorite. They're not my favorite kind, but like the fact that she's involved. Yeah. Go ahead.
I hope it takes more. You're fine. I hope it takes a more psychological edge on the Winchester family themselves. And like I said, and like Pete said, I know nothing about the source material, but I really hope that this takes more of the, is it their mental status? Is it their mental condition that is making her feel like she needs to lock herself up in this house 7 days a week? And is the house designed to kind of hide from the outside? I'd like kind of a movie that questions whether or not these demonic sights that she's seeing are whether or not they're makeshift in her head or whether they're actually real. I think there's a really good movie in there if it's done right.
You know, it's for some reason it kind of reminds me of that Foxcatcher film that came out a few years ago, the one about the with Steve Carell and obviously, you know, we all know what happens at the end of that, and because it's based on a true story, but like after that came out, people were going nuts over like, see, like basically what Pete said, like, oh, see, guns are bad, and my answer to that is like, no, rich people with way too much money and nothing better to do are bad.
Exactly.
The guns are circumstantial, and so I hope it does, because if you watch Assault on Precinct 13, or a movie like that, you'd be like, no, see, guns are good. In fact, more guns are better.
I hope I go to see this movie and it says produced by the NRA.
Right. You know,
and then you'll be fine. Then you'll be all right.
Every time I've watched, you know, like one of the movies that we've watched for the show, I've always watched it, and there's always some scene. I know we're going to get into the void, but I'm always, every fucking time, I'm like, you know what? Why doesn't the NRA like buy chiller television? You know, because there's always like, hey, let me get your gun, okay?
Don't before guns. You go. I already know where you're going with that, and I definitely wanted to talk to you about that.
Okay,
like that part. I literally wrote down in my notes, I need to talk to Pete about this.
Yeah, right.
Even I know what you're talking about right now.
But you remember when we watched, what was the one where they Descent, right? And in the beginning, like these British chicks are driving and they see like some shotgun rounds into a street sign, and they're like, oh man, guns, and then they're underground, and I wonder if they even thought. I mean, I know it's a movie, but the whole time I'm watching, like, I bet you want one of those guns right now, don't you? Now that you're chased by trolls.
You're getting chewed on by troglodytes.
Yeah, it's okay.
And there's only like six of them. I mean, that's an easy target right there.
Yeah,
that's a buffet. That's what that is. A couple more things real quick. Jeff Goldblum is returning as Dr. Ian Malcolm for the next Jurassic World movie, which is awesome. Though it'll never be better than Jurassic Park, but okay, that's cool. And I guess let's have a little bit of fun. And we've been bashing the new Alien promotions, and I think that they have they've really outdone themselves by making a xenomorph Mr. Potato Head. Because why the fuck not, right? They've already done everything else. They're basically they're turning into Kiss. Kiss would they just put their name on everything. like they just can't say no. Like
Alien love gun.
right. Love gun.
Produced by the NRA.
Produced by the NRA.
Look, man, you can hate all you want. I'm gonna fucking buy the Mr. Potato Head Xenomorph while I'm wearing my Alien Day LV426 fucking Ripley shoes and the Xenomorph shoes at the same time, mind you, because I'm not a fucking loser, and rocking that fucking Mr. Potato Head. I'm gonna buy all of it.
Wait, you got those yellow Reeboks?
Fuck no.
Oh, I thought you really had them.
No, I'm gonna steal them off some kid. Next time, if I ever see somebody walk around in them, I'm gonna fucking beat the shit out of them and take them.
You should. They deserve it. Anybody wearing those shoes deserves to get their asses kicked.
$375. Like, yeah, I'm sorry, dude. I gotta take you. And I think
gotta
I have like
take you behind the fucking woodshed. What's the matter with you? Jeez.
Like, listen. I got maybe like a 45 to maybe 38% chance of taking you, and those are odds that I can live with.
Jeez, that's terrible, dude. Not ever. No way. It's horrible.
No, but full disclosure, no. This is getting ridiculous. Like it's marketing at its absolute fucking worst, and it's like when's the alien xenomorph gonna be on like a sitcom? Like when's it gonna come into like a house with like fucking flowers and a weird fedora?
It's the annoying neighbor.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
It's the Steve Urkel.
Exactly right.
Heidi ho, Winslows.
Did I do that?
Like when?
And
like,
it's like,
when
yeah,
is
it gets acidy spit and it goes through the wood floor. Did I do that?
like, or the worst part is like when I like check my phone and I saw those shoes. The first thing I thought, and everybody's like, it's Alien Day, it's 426. And I'm like, okay, now we're really pushing these like quote unquote nerd days, like May the 4th and all that stuff. I'm like, I swear to God, if I go to, and I'm in my office, I'm like, if I go to Google and it's like face huggers, I'm gonna rip the fucking screen off my computer and throw it across the lobby.
Oh, that'd be so good though. That would have been awesome.
No, it's too much.
It actually has made me not want to buy any Alien stuff because I like to buy my wife stuff and I like to buy my daughter stuff, and I saw this like really cute baby shirt that had the face hugger on it, and it was like a cartoon version of the face hugger, and it said "I love your face," and I was like, no, and I was really thinking about buying it. Now I have this new policy now where, because I was spending a ton of money before, and I started to get frugal by what I do is I put it in the cart and then I just leave it for the day. And then if at the end of the day I look at the cart and go, yeah, I don't know, then I just don't get it. But if I'm like, I gotta fucking, oh my God, I can't believe I forgot this, that's when I buy it. And I haven't bought anything. I bought a bunch of VHS tapes used, but that's really about it. And I looked at that and I'm like, I'm so fucking sick of Alien, and I just erased it. So I'm not buying that. There's no way. I'm not buying that.
What about those nesting dolls? You saw those, right?
No, what is that?
Potato Head? You know, like those Russian nesting dolls where you open the one and then it's got the next and the next all the way down. They had that
Xenomorph
for,
ones?
yeah, and it went all the way down to the, I think to an egg was the last one. Egg, face hugger, Ripley's in there holding Jonesy the cat, and then the Xenomorph. Which,
all right, that is actually fucking cool. That's
yeah.
super cool.
And then you open the Xenomorph and Donald Trump's in it.
I play the best Xenomorph, okay? When do we get to go to China?
Can we like Photoshop an emblem that's like Waylon Trump? Because it would be fucking perfect.
Nobody drives the ship better than me, okay? I got people for that. What's a ship? Who knew that who knew that alien planets were so complicated?
We're gonna build a queen. It's gonna be the best queen that ever happened. It's gonna be a better queen than everybody else's queen.
They're bad people. I'm sure some of them are okay. Oh boy. So I guess it's time to move into trailer of the week. Pete is picking it out this week because he's usually on. You're basically going to be on, like, we're shooting for like once a month now, right?
Yeah. I mean,
you come on every week if you come on every week if you want. I don't care. But I'm just
absolutely.
You're a busy dude. You have way more. You have the amount of kids that we have. You have all of them. So I just figured that, like, this is a hassle for you. So
No, I love this.
Okay.
I lock the door and then they can't bother me. I'm like, I'm doing a podcast. Leave me alone. Like, it doesn't start till 10:30.
I'm dead now. So just go on.
Push the breakfast underneath the door. All right, thanks. So, all right. So you gave me 4 trailers, and I'll be honest, man. They all look awesome. So the first one I watched was Replace, and I thought, I'm like, oh, I'm picking that. I can already tell I'm gonna fucking love that. And then I watched Blood Drive, which is it's gonna be a show, not a movie. But man, that looks like so much fucking fun.
That's a show that I'm down to watch. Like I love Ash vs
awesome.
Evil Dead, so I think it'll be just as great.
Yeah.
The
And then
anthology series.
Camera Obscura, that looked like I would definitely check that out. That looked pretty cool. But without a doubt, I think what is going to be an excellent movie is Hounds of Love. It's based. I was just looking this up while we were talking. It's based on a true story from Australia, and the trailer didn't give too much away, which I hate watching trailers, to be honest, because I hate ruining it for myself. So the trailer didn't give too much away, but it's about a couple that kidnaps a girl, and it looks like they torture her and shit, and she's trying to convince the wife, she's trying to turn the wife against the husband and stuff like that, trying to use psychology to get out of the situation. And just watching the actress that plays the wife in this couple, let's see, her name's Emma Booth. I'd never heard of her before. I looked up her pictures on IMDb. She looks very attractive, and then in this, she doesn't look that good in this movie, which is impressive. But the look on her face constantly, she looks like she's jealous because her husband wants to bang this chick they just kidnapped, and just the look on her face looks really portrays the emotions in it. I think it's going to be different than any other movie I had seen, just because of that element in there. One thing I was talking about my friend about the movie, and they said that it doesn't matter whether you're a serial killer or you go to church. If you're a wife, you're gonna get jealous of another chick, and that's exactly what's happening in that movie. It looks awesome, and I think it's gonna be great. It comes out in July, I think, July 5th. Well, that's the France release date, but looks very fun.
Yeah,
maybe not fun. It
hit.
Looks terrorizing, but it'll be good.
It actually reminds me of sort of like 2 movies that I liked a lot. One of them was Prisoners. That came out with, that's the one with Hugh Jackman and Gyllenhaal, and he's got a neck tattoo, and we're supposed to be convinced that he's a tough guy.
That movie was great.
That
movie was great.
That was a really good movie. And there was one that came out last year called I Am Not a Serial Killer, and that movie was incredible. And it's closer to that than it is Prisoners. I'm pretty excited about that. It looks like a movie that I would definitely I would definitely go out and see. And it's kind of mixed.
You know what I thought?
Go ahead.
Oh, yo, I was thinking when I watched that trailer, sorry to interrupt you, but it was Kiss the Girls. I don't know if it was a Kiss the Girls thing.
Or, absolutely. Brett, what was your take? Brett's frozen. Brett died. So...
It's a great picture of him, though.
Yeah, he's got this wonderful smile on his face.
He's doing his own Kiss the Girls thing right now. One of them was probably screaming. He had to go down to the basement, make sure they're all right. Reset the traps. He's probably running through the woods right now after one of them.
Note to self, reinforced concrete wall. Check.
Note to self, reinforce the concrete wall that's reinforcing the concrete wall. All right, well, while Brett is frozen in our hearts and minds, we are going to take the break that we always take. And when we come back, we're going to talk about The Void, so stay with us.
You are listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray. Let us know what you think by reaching out to us. We can be found on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, or Facebook by simply searching Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray. To suggest a film or trailer you think we should discuss, or to comment on this or any other episode, send an email to bloodgutsandbluray@gmail.com. We will always get back to you. Thank you for listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Haven't you ever wished to save someone beyond saving? No matter what the cost. This is uncharted territory. The body has to adjust, of course. We weren't built for this kind of thing. You'd be surprised at the things you find when you go looking.
There is something calling them all here.
What if those people get in here? What are we supposed to do?
You saw it? What was that?
Do you know where you go when you die? I do.
The Void was released to the public this year, 2017. In the film, 18 people die, though there is a slaughterhouse with a bunch of dead bodies in it, and it's dark, and it's way too hard to count. So it's 18 plus. I think that's a better way of describing it. Anyway, there's no naughty count. It was directed by Steven Kostanski and Jeremy Gillespie, who were both, they did, I think it was Manborg and Father's Day, both really, really good movies. Anyway, it only grossed about $100K so far, but it was only in select theaters and caught a lot of hype on the festival circuit. A few months down the road, it actually may get a broader theatrical release if it picks up any sort of hype that's even remotely close to what It Follows was a few years ago. We are going to do the best we can not to spoil this film for you. Brett, do what you do.
Wonderful. So, Officer Daniel Carter's mundane evening turns chaotic with the mere assistance of a wayward pedestrian. Finding a young man bloody and discombobulated, Daniel finds himself in a hospital in transition, with his estranged wife being one of the few residents. But personal discord is placed aside when a demonic cult, donned in white, ascend upon the depleted hotel, keeping its inhabitants captive. Low on weaponry and simultaneously hunted by demonic creatures risen within the hospital, Daniel must solve the quandary of where these creatures are coming from, all the while protecting the innocent from falling into the growing void within their makeshift shelter.
So my first note is exactly these words. So we're lighting people on fire within the first 2 minutes. This is excellent.
I love that. That's how I was like, I was
That's how you-
Shotgun in the back and fucking lit on fire.
I loved it. I as soon as he did that, I'm like, I'm in for something fucking amazing now. It's gonna get great. And initially, to me, it felt a lot like Baskin and Last Shift before it sort of began to borrow heavily from John Carpenter films, specifically The Thing Assault
The
on
Thing.
Precinct 13, Prince of Darkness, The Fog. I think The Thing and Prince of Darkness are probably the most prevalent, but that's okay. Nobody does anything original anymore anyway. So,
It's all homage at this point.
it's fine. It's fine. It was done totally tastefully. And there's a part early on within like the first 10 minutes where a patient and a nurse are like bored watching TV, and on the screen Night of the Living Dead is playing. And so,
Wonderful.
as we know, sometimes this is taken as a compliment. It's meant to pay an homage to someone, but it also can be construed as an insult, like the way that Sam Raimi and Wes Craven used to go back at each other. And considering that how the characters are really bored and dismissive when they're watching it, it leans more toward insult. But I actually have a whole different take on this altogether, and I think Gillespie and Kostansky were throwing shade on the current surplus of zombie genre films altogether. So they put Night of the Living Dead on in their universe, and the clearly bored characters are bored because they're young and they're dumb and they don't see the artistry of the and the value of the classic film like Night of the Living Dead. I think that was meant to not insult George Romero, because you don't do that, but instead insult an entire generation of idiots who are like, you know what we need now? We need David Fincher to direct World War Z 2. Like, that's, or I'm not going to a movie. Like, that's what I think that was. I don't think it had anything to do with George. I think it was saying that, like, leave this shit to George. He's the only one that can do this right.
And I have to agree with you, because especially from the character Kim, who is pretty prevalent in the beginning and a little bit more towards the end, but she is like the essential, like the quintessential millennial
Idiot.
like quote unquote lazy idiot. Yeah, total fucking moron, working in a position, and she's like, well, I'm a nurse in training, who obviously doesn't give a flying fuck about ever being a nurse. And yeah, with that whole, like, how they transition the film after they show Living Dead is spot on, and I completely agree with you, Brian, on that, where it's not a jab at the film, it's a jab at what the new generation looks at when they see that film.
Right. And half of her lines in this movie are like eyes rolling to the side. Like, and that's what this generation is now. Hey, do some work. God, all right. And
What? That's what we have computers now.
right.
Oh, computers do filing? Yeah, it's totally obvious.
So, in an effort to try to keep us from spoiling this movie, because it's gonna be very hard, let's try to stay as best we can all in the same spot. I don't ever crack the whip. I used to, and I don't anymore. But in this case, we really need to, because I really don't want to ruin this for anyone. So right from the beginning, up to the computer part that Brett just said, Pete, where are you at with this film? What were you thinking as you're going, as it's happening?
Up to the computer part?
Yeah, where she's like, computers are better than people, and, you know, whatever she says, I don't know.
Right. So they, I'm trying to remember when he has that, like, they have that atmospheric looking cutscene where it's like the universe and then clouds and all that shit.
The Neither World.
Music, the Ether World?
The Neither
Ender
World.
World?
The Netherworld.
I call it the Neither, but it's probably Nether.
Like from Minecraft?
No, from Beetlejuice.
Yes,
Right.
like Minecraft, exactly like Minecraft, the Netherworld.
Right. Which is the real world. The music in the beginning was awesome. And it started kind of doing a giving that creepy atmosphere and showing the town they were in, and when they go into like the hospital, it's all smoky as shit in there. And I didn't realize until they mentioned it that like the hospital had burned, and that's why it was smoky. But I was curious. I'm sure you guys know, being the movie buffs that you are, how they do that filter to make it look smoky. I'm sure they're not pumping smoke into there, but they make it look like it's like you're in a bar and the lights just came on, and it's just that shady lighting.
I'm waiting for Bruce's joke.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, go.
they made the cameraman smoke a cigarette while he's filming.
There you
There
go.
it
That's it.
There it is.
It's a real easy, cheap trick to do.
That would be easy. Well, now he's using e-cigarettes and
He's vaping, everyone.
right.
Bub, where you at with the beginning?
I liked it. You know what? Like you said, first 2 minutes, I watched this movie with my wife, and she's like, "What the fuck are you making me watch?" She's like, "They're lighting people on fire. Dudes are running through the woods," and I was like, "Yeah, it's gonna be a good one." You know? I like how it started off nice and hard. You know, it doesn't mix words. It gets right to the point. Somebody's on fire, sitting in the lawn. They're shooting at a guy in the woods. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then eyeball gore kind of happens, which is awesome. As we all know how much I love eyeball gore on film, and it wasn't super gross, but it also wasn't subtle either. And I thought, what a great part, what a fucking amazing part. And I was like, you know, you have throughout this entire movie, you have the point of view of the characters, so you have no idea what's going on. Like, he just walks into a room, and a nurse is putting a pair of scissors into a patient's eyeball, and
with her face ripped off.
With her own face ripped off, and you're going, what the fuck is going on? That was wild. And that was awesome. And then the it got. I like how he's kind of like a cop, like almost like a reluctant cop. Like, he's like, yeah, I guess I'm a cop. Like, and he's sleeping. He gets the phone calls, and he's like sleeping in his car, and then he sees the guy come out of like the scraggly woods, and he's like, I think we got a drunk teenager. And he walks over to him. He's like, yeah, having a good time tonight. Like, he's not even trying to arrest him or nothing, and it just gets heavy for him, and he's more pissed off that he has to actually do paperwork than anything else. Like, he's like, I'm never gonna finish that nap I started. But yeah, I like the eyeball gore scene. I thought that was really cool. I was also really impressed with the way that they used shadows and camera angles in this one. I haven't really seen anything like that lately, and the movie was dark. The shadows concealed a lot of stuff, and you didn't get to see a lot of things until later. So let's get to the part now that I really need to ask Pete about, and I mentioned it before. All right, so we'll just break this down. I don't think it's too much of a spoil. So our main character, Carter, walks into a hospital room. He sees a nurse inserting a pair of scissors into a patient's eye with her own face like cut off, and then she sort of comes at him. He, of course, well within his right, shoots her, and she dies. And then he kind of has a moment. He's like, I guess he never shot anybody before, so he got sick and goes into the bathroom and faints. And when and right before that, he has a vision. He wakes up. There's a state trooper there. State trooper kind of like grills him a little bit and then takes away his gun. Is that protocol? I don't think it is. I don't think you disarm a cop for that, do you? I've never heard of that. Pete, what do you think? We lost Pete for a second. Is he back?
He's looking for his gun.
Well, can I jump in for a second?
Yeah, Brett, go ahead, jump in. Pete will be back.
Well, I was gonna say that I personally feel that could be a potential protocol with a police officer firing on an unarmed woman, a quote-unquote unarmed woman, well, she got the scissors, but she's never showed signs of being an issue before, and so at least for like story's sake, not necessarily reality's sake, the story, it made sense. It gave us a reason to remove the firearm from Daniel. The state trooper was an interesting character because of the fact that he was uninteresting. I expected it to be like a kind of bigger part in the play, and the fact that he was more just a doof that was looking into a murder that from the beginning of the film, which was, like we agree, is fucking awesome. I thought it helped carry on the character. I thought it helped carry on the plot of why the police officer, Officer Carter, Daniel, is unarmed. Mm-hmm. So I thought for film's sake, I thought that was a good choice.
Bob?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like that state trooper. You know what? Like, I mean, I don't know. You know, he was just too, like, dry and serious. I mean, I'm sure a lot of them are, but, you know, like, this dude's, like, trying to, like, you know, basically, the chick's got half her face ripped off. You got a body laying on the gurney, you know, and you got a bullet head in that nurse's head. Dude, that cop did the right thing. Like, they should be fucking slapping high fives, you know? Like, he should have been like, good job, dude. Here's another gun, you know? Like, I didn't get it. I didn't get it.
Well,
yeah, here's a fucking flamethrower.
While we're waiting for Pete to come back, because I do want to hear what he has to say. But do you think that part of her, like, not having a gun herself and getting shot, do you think that was like a topical thing because that's sort of like, you know, kind of what's been happening lately? And do you think that maybe that had something that's the reason that part was there? I just thought of that question now. And I've not been quiet about my feeling about this. I think a lot of times these police officers are, you know, they get really, really trigger happy, and they get really, really scared, and they just fire off to protect they fire off to protect themselves, maybe a little prematurely. Do you think that was that specific part is there to convey, you know, to timestamp where we're at in America right now?
I would actually kind of have to play the devil's advocate and disagree, because the movie, more of the movie's sake, it clearly shows that she's a threat, and he's the only one that can witness it. And it's almost the exact opposite, in my opinion, where it shows the police officer witnessing a very obvious, credible threat, and in the film, it's pretty obvious to the other people that there was something wrong with her. She ripped her own fucking skin off. So it wasn't like she was just kind of like putting something into his arm and he shot her out of nowhere in the back of the head, which would be more topical. She was an obvious threat, even afterwards, and proven throughout the film that she was, which I'm sure, Brian, you'll touch on.
Oh, yeah.
To me, I can kind of see where that's coming from, but it's almost counterintuitive if that's the plan, because it showed the police officer making the completely 100% right choice and shooting her when he walked in on her, slowly pulling fucking scissors out of this guy's eye and ripping her skin off. I have to disagree.
Do you think that maybe the and I'm not trying to throw, we're just trying to have a conversation here, but do you think maybe the filmmakers are, because whatever your viewpoint is on it, either way, it doesn't matter. I think Pete's back now. But whatever your viewpoint is on either way, do you think that the filmmakers were trying to be sympathetic to the police giving the what's going on now with with these
I
shootings?
could totally, I could see that. I could see that. Yes, I don't think that was the main theme they were going for, but that can certainly be read from that.
Bob, what do you think?
I didn't even think of that until you just brought it up. You know.
I honestly didn't think of it until I was trying to fill in time.
I just thought that nurse needed a bullet between the eyes. That's what she needed.
I agree. So here's what we're gonna do. I think Pete's having some issues. We're gonna take a quick break, and because it's my show, I can do whatever I want.
Hey, what are you listening to?
Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray.
What's Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray?
You've never heard of Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray?
I've never heard of Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray.
Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray is a horror movie podcast. They talk about horror movies they love and even the ones they hate. They're actually really entertaining. You can listen to them on iTunes.
Well, what if I don't have iTunes?
Then you can find them on Stitcher or YouTube, or we could listen together.
Yeah, that sounds great. So, your place and mine.
Wait, did you hear that?
Hear what? But I didn't even get a chance to listen to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray.
Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray will never die, but you will. Listen now on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube before it's too late. Part of the Core Temp Arts Podcast Network. Okay, we're back from our technical break. Pete's computer knew that he was going to talk about guns, so it tried to crash on him. But, so Pete, the question I posed was, and we tried to bullshit around it until you got your stuff fixed. But now that we're back, there's the part, of course, where Carter gets his gun taken away by the state trooper. And is that a protocol thing? Or is it does that actually happen? Does they take their guns away? I mean, how does that work? And go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm not too sure how that works with cops. If they're into shooting, if they take their gun away or anything like that. Well, one of my buddies is a cop. He's been in shootings before, and I don't think they take his gun away. If I was that cop, if I was Carter, and he was like, some chick just peeled her own face off and jabbed a pair of scissors into a guy's eyeball, and you shot her. I'm fucking keeping my gun. You can go fuck yourself. No, you got to turn it in. No. You knew my dad? Great. Congratulations.
That made me think that he was like in on it. I think I might have even said it out loud. I'm like, that's the oldest trick in the book.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, because he's kind of condescending to him. Like, your dad was a stand-up cop, and I wonder what he would say, and I got to take your gun away. And right away, if someone said that to me, I'd be offended. I'd be like, go fuck yourself. But I sure as shit wouldn't give that up. I'm like, nah, I'll put it in my holster. No, I really got to give it to me. Nah, I'm gonna put it in my holster. That chick just cut her own face off. I do love that scene where she's like, oh, I missed a piece, and she pulls it out and like snips it.
I did. That was
I love that
cool.
part.
If it were me, honestly, it would be. I'll be like, I would wait. I would wait for my supervisor to take my gun. Like if it's somebody's gonna, I don't work for you. You're just here, and when my supervisor comes and because he's gonna be the one that does my paperwork and stuff anyway, and he's the one that's got to follow protocol after something like this has happened, whatever that protocol may be. If he tells me I have to give him the gun, I'll do that, and then I'm getting a squad car and going somewhere. I'm gonna go back to the station and do my paperwork, answer the questions that I need to answer, and then carry on with take my leave or whatever, suspension, whatever the fuck they do. I don't know anymore. Because don't they have to take like leave, and they have to, I mean, I've seen it in movies, so I don't know how real it is. Like I probably sound like an idiot right now, but like, isn't it at a point now where cops, if they shoot someone, they have to like go talk to somebody about it now, and they have to take like, they're required to take like a couple days off or something. I'd heard that, and I don't know how true that is, so I could be talking out of my ass.
They take like a sabbatical. They take like a sabbatical, pretty much, is what I think they forced them to do, which is probably training and psychological evaluation,
and also them having to fill out all their reports and stuff and make sure that they didn't act wrongfully. I would imagine that that's what they have to do now, especially now in the current time that we're in. So
I'm pretty sure that it probably just depends, in that small town. Yeah, maybe, but I would say half your police force would probably be, if you're working like where I grew up, downtown Buffalo or Compton, and you're getting in shootouts and people are trying to kill you, and you're using your gun. I think, that's a lot of vacation time,
Yeah.
Fuck, I wanted to go golfing this weekend. What's in your pocket there, pal? What do you got? Yeah. And that was a thing too, is he goes out. He goes outside. He has that whole run in. Not to. I don't want to do the spoiler thing or anything, but there was definitely a point where if I was him, I came back inside, I would have been like, yeah, give me my goddamn gun back, Mitchell. I just got fucking stabbed. Give me my gun. Yeah, I'm gonna hang on to it for you.
It's for you that I'm doing
that guy
this.
Yeah. I'll get a fire axe. How about you just get your fucking gun back? How about that?
Give me your gun then. Let's trade. I don't care, but I just need something. Like,
right.
I thought it was a good move. So just trying to stay on this nurse that ended up turning. She turns into a monster. We don't know what the fuck happened. We're just like, it just we see that scene where her face kind of splits open and like similar to The Thing, like something comes out of it, and it was awesome.
The tentacles that come out of her eyes, which is fucking awesome.
Like totally, this movie totally won me over with its effects, and but they kept it really well hidden. I mean, it was really dark. You didn't see, I mean, you knew something monstery was happening, but you didn't know exactly what. You didn't know exactly what it looked like. You didn't know how big it was or what you were in for. And that, and the fact that they, those details were blurry, really put you in the perspective of those characters, because they had no idea either. I mean, it was just, that room was as dark for them as it was for us watching. So I thought that was a really, really, really good decision by the filmmakers to make. Brett?
No, I completely agree, and especially when you said that the darkness, and I'll kind of push it a little bit forward. That scene with the junkie, with the nurse kind of turning and having this whole like tentacle thing, which I really like heard the cicada sounds from The Thing as it was happening in the back of my head, was extremely frightening and extremely stress-inducing. And even if you fast forward a little bit to when the nurse is kind of turned into like this big amorphous blob creature she turns into, and that father and son kind of jump into the scenes, the badasses that have been surviving during this whole scenario, they have this like wonderful swinging fluorescent light that is flashing light, and it worked so well because you saw enough of the creature, you saw enough of the practical effects that you wanted to see more, and they played with a lot of pus and blood and gore, but they never really showed you the full outline of the creature. It was just so well done. It was I left scenes going, just shaking my head going, wow, this is phenomenal. This is great.
There's the part where they go out to the car, and the car is, because Carter has his gun taken away, and Mitchell gets eaten by we don't know what yet, and they're trying to, they're trying to stock weapons. They're in a hospital that's getting ready for a move, so it's limited supply, and so he convinces the father and son to go out to the car, and the car is further away than he had parked it, and this is an interesting part of the movie because you don't know exactly what happened. Meanwhile there's guys in like white hoods outside with triangle faces, and you don't know what they're about either. Did they move the car? What's going on? But my favorite line in the movie happens after that, when they get attacked by those guys, and then Carter finally goes, "I'm keeping the fucking gun." And
yeah, that's the best.
It's the best line in the whole movie, and that's when you as the viewer go, okay, he's the hero, and he's supposed to be the hero. That he just cemented himself. He kind of came out of the doldrums and became that guy. But what do you think about that whole part?
Oh no, I love that part where like the cars moved, but all I could think about was like these dudes in the robes and stuff. They looked like something out of Star Wars, like they were like snow troopers. They have that whole look to them.
Yeah.
That's all I could think about.
Well, that and the Klan, because they look like
they look a little bit Klanish. And like if you've ever seen some of those, I guess like old, satanic cult films, that comes to mind as well, and that it's closer to what it was, although not really.
And actually, I want to kind of make a comment on the topic you brought up before, because Brian, you made up a great point, and now I'm thinking about it more. This one of my favorite, like, very small images is Carter turning on the cop lights in the car while he's searching for the shotgun with the father and the son, and having the red and blue lights flash against the white the white garb that they're wearing. Yeah, that's a huge, that could be seen as a huge commentary on shooting and things of that nature, because it was so well done, and it was so fucking prevalent and obvious in the film. What a great scene. Taking what we're talking about out, what a great image.
Oh, that, yeah, and that was scary. They were scary because you didn't know what was underneath there. You don't know what their intention was. That kind of stuff is terrifying to me, and also with, like, it kind of tipped me off a little bit to what was going on, and my theory on this, and I think I could say it without really giving it away, is that they're in the void at that point, and they don't even know it yet. That's the void is not the end, which we're not going to give too much away about that. We're going to stop at a certain point. But because it's obscuring all the things that they know. Like, we know that he parked that car in that spot. You know, there's no dramatic irony there. When you look back at this movie and you go, okay, at one point he did walk out to his car and he sat in it. And he tried to use his radio. That's a very important part, because we saw him, how many steps he needed to take to get to the car. It wasn't nearly as many as it was when him and the father and the son went out. So this supernatural cult element that is the nemesis. It's like a siege on the hospital that they're staying in. They are obscuring the reality that all the characters knew. Especially. Go ahead. Well,
and it's almost, these characters fall under an indoctrination, is the best word I can think of, and it seems like our main character, as well as many other characters that are within this hospital, are falling to this indoctrination unknowingly, which we can't really touch too much in the future, but there are other characters who are blatantly under the control and being brainwashed,
manipulated,
as it were.
Manipulated,
and to me, they're indoctrinated. They don't realize they're doing something bad, and it's the simplest act, like you said, of moving a cop car or seeing things in a different light, which this film really plays heavily on. Yeah, they don't realize exactly what they're doing or what their cause is, maybe until it's too late.
You know what? You know what's real weird?
I like go ahead.
Sorry, like they
no, you're fine.
They use like the father and the son, you know, and like the whole gimmick of this movie is like there's a hell, the void is worse, right? Like, do you feel like they try to use that cop guy as like the Holy Spirit, like the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, like he's the one sent to like stop this shit?
You know, I never.
I thought.
Go ahead, Brett.
I actually, because Bub, you said that, I did think that, but in my mind, Allison was kind of an illusion towards the Holy Spirit, because she was the one that was, above all else, she wanted to help, she wanted to heal. We haven't really touched on Maggie as the pregnant girl. She was willing to go into certain death and doom to get the medication that she needed to help the pregnant teenager. To me, she was the quote-unquote spirit in this film, and the only reason I thought that, like you said, is because of the father and the son illusion.
Pete, what's your take on that? Because I'll be honest with you, I didn't even that thought never dawned on me. That's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't think of that either, but the father and son duo. It's the only like I loved this movie, but that was the only thing that kind of that I didn't like was there was some shit that was confusing about what was going on with them, especially the dad, like the son who can't talk, just communicating with his face was awesome. The way he was doing that. There's definitely a scene at the end where his eyes are all teared up and shit, and it's an awesome scene. But I thought they were like they fought through the. I didn't know what their fucking end goal was. It was to get the junkie. Was it to kill all the rope dudes? Because why would they fight through them to get into the hospital? I mean, I know I watched it twice. I know it's kind of like a revenge thing, but I don't know. It just wasn't clear to me, and I thought that they knew more than they were, and then they didn't know shit. And I don't know. If I came to a hospital and was surrounded by a bunch of dudes like that, I would have fucking taken off. Yeah. Get my revenge a different day.
And Pete, I agree with you on that, because the beginning kind of sets you up with they seem to know more, and they never actually seem to know more. So, like, I wonder if they were a part of it without knowing it, and they kind of broke the indoctrination baby with the whole... That's all I could really... But I came up with that with my imagination. There's nothing in the film that really kind of sets that. And I agree that the father-son relationship was really vague. And it could have been... There's a lot of different directions it could have been made to actually make sense.
Yeah. I didn't even know they were father-son until I watched it a second time. And there was a picture on the wall. And I'm like, oh, okay. Just because... of all the actors, and there were a lot of really interesting characters and stuff, I thought the dad there was something about the way he was acting that just wasn't very believable, and it was kind of it was fucking with me while I was watching. I just wanted him to shut up.
Yeah, and it was strange because even the father makes a comment in the film of his family died. He watched his family die, and he doesn't, and the father doesn't say my family died. So it definitely sets you up to think this is some random kid this guy found and took on as a son.
Right.
And then to kind of throw the, like, oh no, they're actually father-son, which is what they seem to throw out. They never really confirmed too much. It was a strange decision for the film.
Yeah.
Kenneth Welsh, the guy who played the doctor, I thought was fantastic in this movie. I didn't realize how long a career he's had in some of the movies he's been in and television shows. He's kind of always gets billed as like a police detective, but he's been in Crocodile Dundee 2. It's what I remembered him most as. And then he was in a couple Twilight Zone episodes, the 1988 ones. Ray Bradbury Theater, Twin Peaks as Wyndham Earl, Outer Limits, Erie, Indiana, X-Files, Time Cop, Fog Remake, Death Wish 5, Cottage Country, Survival of the Dead, more recently. So he's basically been in almost every TV show that I've ever liked or been like stuck on, you know. So, I mean, the X-Files and Twin Peaks specifically, but he was totally the best part of this movie. I loved him. I thought he was really, really good. And I don't want, we don't want to go into too much again because we got to keep this fair. But his character change was wild.
Oh, it was crazy.
And he was
awesome,
totally creepy when he is talking to what's her face while she's on the operating table. I forget her name. I forget the character's name. Allison. When he's talking to her, and he's doing it for a long time, and I don't know many other actors that could have pulled that off. But he did, and I thought that was really cool. And he's given the whole backstory, which we can't go into, but he's given the whole backstory, and like it seems to be taking a long time. If it was any other movie and maybe any other actor, I'd be like, get on with it. Holy crap, what is taking so long? But this guy did a really, really, really good job. So he deserves a handshake and a high five for everything he did.
Did anybody else...
Bub, what'd you think?
Did anyone else get the vibe, though, when I first saw him, when they first rolled into the hospital? I thought it was Malcolm McDowell. Like, I really thought...
I did, too. I thought the exact same thing.
And then all of a sudden, I saw him a little more, and I was like, oh, fuck, it's some other dude, you know? But do you guys think that, like, during filming, like, in between takes, when all those dudes in the white robes were out there with the knives? Do you think he was like, that's not a knife? You know, since he was in Crocodile Dundee.
No, yeah, Brian, I gotta agree with you on that one. Which we can't really go too much into his character arc, but he has a lot of long monologues, and this is 50-50 in terms of, did he deliver them well? Absolutely. Realistically, with no overacting, they were phenomenal. And also well delved out. They were well divided, because you could tell there was a lot of places that he was talking about things and explaining things, and they would cut it for a specific scene and then have him come back again. It kind of gripped you by the side and like said, we're going to give you little tastes here and there throughout this film. Just wait until you hear more.
Yeah, I agree. Him talking and the story he told and the way he delivered it was definitely very, it was interesting to listen to. And I think that's a good point, that if it was anybody else, you would definitely be like, shut the fuck up already. Okay, thanks for explaining the whole movie to me.
Like,
you know?
let me get to the end. Like, let the end try to piece the last part of this together. Because after he did that, you know, if it was like I'll take another actor that's like, I guess maybe closer to his age. Like, I'm a big fan of like Brian Cox. He's been in a bunch of, I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. I'm trying to think what 25th Hour and things like that. If it was him doing it, yeah, it would sound cool for like a couple minutes. And then you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, this is taking, you know? And I like him. Like, I like him. I think he's great. Whenever I see him in a movie, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He's a good actor. This is going to be really great. But, yeah, Kenneth Welsh did such a great job in that role. And that, now, to be fair, because we've been lauding this thing with praise the whole time, there's like 10 to 15 minutes. It's like near the end of the second act going into the third act where the movie got a bit sleepy.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, yeah. And I think that's realistically its only flaw.
Oh, I got a flaw.
I
have one big one before we get into it.
All right, go for it.
All right.
No, go ahead.
One of the parts of this movie where I was like, nah, fuck this, was when that dude who runs out of the woods, who they brought to the hospital, stabs the doctor in his fucking shoulder, and then he has a neck injury. That really fucking bothered me. I was like, oh no, it's just a flesh wound, and all of a sudden he's holding his neck and he's like dying like he can't breathe, and I was like, no, fuck this.
That's a good reason to be angry.
I agree.
I'm telling you, go back and watch that part. That was like, I love this movie, but that was like one of the fucking parts. Like, if this movie goes down in history as being a fucking great horror movie, 30 years from now, our fucking daughters are talking about it, that's going to be one of the fucking parts of that movie where people are like, oh, they could have done that better.
Yeah, fair enough.
What about where the walls were, one of the monsters is like bouncing into the walls and it's wiggling?
I didn't notice that. What part was that?
Yeah. When the walls like coming together.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I was actually gonna bring that part up. That was very Hellraiser 2. Toward the end, Hellbound. Very, very, like, it's almost the.
I'm laughing because when you stepped away for the break, I brought up Hellraiser on this film.
Oh no, I wrote Hellraiser down. This gets the third act of this movie is totally Hellraiser.
It's very frank.
It's very Hellraiser. It's very Hellraiser. It's very frank.
They should have called this movie Black Frank.
The scene I love the most, it's one of the best scenes that I've taken in a very long time, was the slaughterhouse scene. I thought it was incredible. I was really, really scared. It scared me. I liked it because, for one, the shadows were great. It was sort of monochromatic because they lit that flare, and so it's like monochromatic with red and black. And it was like legit scary. There's like way too many bodies to even count. There's that weird scene where one of the, I guess, undead or mutilated or whatever is like just continually just driving a spike through its own head. And I was like, that's fucking wild. And
then turns, you get that great camera angle of it, of like going through its
and it's
head.
a triangle. And triangles have been the theme of this whole film.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Oh.
Yep.
That was just such a fucking cool part, and then the monster that comes out of it is just wild. And I'm really trying to watch what I say from here on out. Hold on, let's see. But that was the other thing too. So leading to that part, that one nurse is like on a walkie-talkie leading them to like the downstairs or whatever.
There's only one set of stairs.
There's only one set of stairs. The door that she knows is there isn't there anymore, and then there's a basement. That's where the part when I realized that they are in the void the whole time. That's my theory, is that they're already in the void. They just don't even know it yet. And the end is a gate to their visions that we were talking about before, the netherworld. That's my theory. They're already in the void. The only way out is through the gate, and of course that's where it becomes very, very Hellraiser-y.
There's a part where they say we're in hell during that monochromatic scene with all the bodies and everything. They're like, we're in hell.
The father says that, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, but that part with the monster if we finally end up seeing the monster, and it is everything you have ever hoped for in a monster. It's there. It was amazing. Yeah. It was absolutely amazing. What did you think, Pete?
Well, actually, I was going to ask you guys if you had, besides that one, because that one was badass, but in that scene where there's all those creatures, you could almost like, hey, which monster's your favorite out of that? Because like mine was the one under the sheet that came out.
Yeah.
And like extended up on all fours. Yeah. That is when I texted you guys, and I'm like,
is that the one that like cracks its neck around and shit?
Yeah.
That one was that was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen on film. That's practical effects done perfectly. If it was like, I'm sure. I really hope John Carpenter saw this and doesn't have anything mean to say about it, because it is definitely like a Wayne's World, Alice Cooper moment where they're where the two of them are on their knees going, "We're not worthy," because John Carpenter's it was totally an homage to him.
John Carpenter's older and he's angry.
He's pissed.
He's gonna be like, who knows what? Canadian horror movie. Come on, it looks like it's in Tennessee. Go fuck yourself.
He's pissed about like everything now. It's kind of weird to.
I love when him and Rob Zombie are fighting. And he's like, "Yeah, fuck Rob Zombie," and then he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm really sorry I said that because me and Rob Zombie talked and I was just angry at the moment."
He's basically an old man now who just like forgets where he is.
I want to see him. I want to see him play live though. Like he plays all these concerts live now, doing his like fucking music shit, and he comes out and he's like, it's like a dark Palladium, and he's still wearing sunglasses. Like, fuck you guys, I'm just doing me.
No, dude, I've been giving that a lot of thought. I think I'm gonna wear sunglasses all the time now. I gave this serious thought. I think I'm gonna do it.
Hey, why not?
Because I just look better with sunglasses on.
You're like fucking. You're like LP from Run the Jewels.
It's a good look for me. I don't know. But he like anytime somebody does a remake, and even a slightly good remake, of one of his movies, he lets it happen. He gives them the blessing. He's an executive producer on it, and then he turns around and be like, "That fucking sucked."
Right.
Like, give me a break. So do we have anything else to add before we take a break and then jump into ratings?
I want to talk about the C-section scene that had to happen, and Pete saying, I love that Pete said that it looked like that girl's gonna pop a water balloon. That's my favorite.
That was
Like,
yeah, that was good.
anyone that's ever spent any time in a shitty strip club knows the direction the C-section cut is supposed to go, and it's not directly into the belly button, which is where she's like, "Okay, here I go." I'm like, "You're a fucking nurse."
You're like, "It's down and to the left. Get it right."
Well, even if you're like a student of nursing, you have a general idea on how to do that.
Yeah, you have some physiology. You know what I mean? Like, you should know where. You shouldn't be a nurse if you don't know where important veins and stuff are. You know?
Right.
I don't know. I think that's just a general rule to go by.
Believe it or not, I work in healthcare. Believe it or not.
No, I know you do.
My anatomy game is strong.
Dr. Bub, paging Dr. Bub.
There is that. There's a part where, and I'm not going to give anything away, but towards the end when he's like, "Daniel, tell me what you see," and I want to be like, I see a giant fucking triangle. I mean, is this a trick question? I don't know. It's a giant fucking triangle on the wall. Is that what you're talking about? Or I'm very disappointed in you, Daniel.
I hit a dick in it, Daniel. Do you see it?
There's a sailboat.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I see it now. That's a good one.
Open the new episode of Highlights. Can you find the difference in the pictures?
Where's Waldo,
Highlighter
Daniel?
magazine.
Do you see where I wrote "fuck Clive Barker"? Do you see it?
I thought that the Netherworld was pretty cool looking. Like, it looked like a If These Trees Could Talk video, you know, or something weird. I like that kind of stuff. And I was watching it with Kristen, and she's like, "Who would want to fucking be in that forever?" I was like, "Me." I hate it. We go right now if you
It's
let
like
me.
it's like who'd want to be there? Okay, it's Brian and April from Parks and Recreation. That's about like as far as it goes of the people that want to actually be in that fucking level.
It looks like it's not too. It doesn't get too hot in there. I don't like the heat, Brett. I don't like it.
What I didn't know If These Trees Could Talk had music videos.
It just
we can talk about that another time.
No, I just
fuck. I love
no.
that
It just
band.
seems like that's a video that would accompany one of their songs. You know what I mean? Like that landscape and
Right.
stuff. I actually don't know if they have videos either, but
Yes.
if they had a video, it would look like that. That's I would imagine.
Agreed.
Like they either like
and
them or one of the dude from ISIS, the band, not the terrorists. But, like one of his bands, because they've got that like it looks like something off like a video from like the Panopticon album.
Nah, this whole movie.
Yeah.
This whole movie is basically Meshuggah, Obzen, the Bleed music video. They made the Bleed music video into a full-length movie with triangles, and I like it.
Anybody got anything else before we go to break?
One of the parts I absolutely love is at the end when you finally see that giant monster and one of the disciples in the white cloak faints.
Yeah.
You know, he was like, "Dude, I'm just here for some really good black metal music and maybe some cool magic tricks, not this shit." And he fucking passes out and then gets his head stomped.
Fucking skull crashed in.
So
Yeah.
we're not going to
I love
see
that
the
part.
ghost? Okay, I'm gonna go sleep. All right, we're gonna take our break. We'll come back and we're gonna rate The Void.
You are listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray. We are dedicated to bringing you the show across your favorite medium. We can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube. Please send all suggestions to bloodgutsandbluray@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.
All right, guys, thanks for sticking around with us. We're about to close this out as we always do with our ratings, and of course, Pete's here, so we're gonna start with him. Pete, what do you rate The Void?
So 1 out of 5. I give it a 4.5. I loved the movie. I rented it. I kind of wish I had bought it. The only thing that I didn't like is there were parts where I was confused. But maybe, a smarter person wouldn't be.
I don't think it's that. I think they were intentionally trying to do that. That's part of the whole thing. Yeah. Because of the perspective that the movie takes, it's supposed to be a little confusing.
Yeah.
So, Bub.
All right, everybody loves this movie. Welcome to Scumbag Zone. I gave it 2.5. So, you know what? I love everything that this movie's trying to do. And I loved, like Brett said, like the swinging, like fucking, like light and all that type of shit. But it didn't give me enough to, like, make me fucking go, whoa, I love this movie. Like, I like the whole intention of it. I like everything it's about, and I would watch it again. But I feel like this movie could have been way more well executed. Like there's just like it's like one of those movies that you drift through. And I felt like I was drifting through it, and it kept my attention, but like nothing shocked me. Like I needed something to like fucking stir me up, and it didn't happen. I mean, like when your whole quote of your movie is, "There's a hell, the void is worse." Like, I don't want to sleep for a week. I want something. I want to go to bed and be like, oh fuck, man, I don't know if I can go to bed. And it didn't do it. It didn't do it that way for me. But I did love the movie. I did think it was great.
Brett.
Wow, we're creating quite a spectrum, because I give this movie a 3.5 out of 5. We didn't really touch on it, but I felt like the characters themselves they could have been cardboard cutouts. They were every single character I've seen in the film. Bub touched on this before, that the 45 to like 55, maybe even an hour, was dreadfully boring. Practical effects are fantastic. The movie leaves you with a decent amount of questions in terms of the overall plot and like the arc, but there's a lot of inconsistencies, especially the beginning with the father and the son, and not like let's think about it, more like a what the fuck happened. But damn, this was an enjoyable ride. Visuals were fantastic. Story was good. The nuance was phenomenal. The atmosphere, again, phenomenal. I give it a solid 3.5 out of 5.
Well, I love the use of practical effects. Everybody knows how much I love that and how much I hate CGI. Filmmakers drew inspiration from some of my favorite directors, Carpenter, Clive Barker, stuff like that. I thought that they did an incredible job making a really scary movie. And The Void gets a very rare 5 out of 5 from me. As of right now, it's the best film of 2017.
Holy shit!
Please do not make a sequel or a prequel.
So it's next to The Shining. It's next to all that stuff.
I put it there, yeah. I like it.
It was a great film. Look, I don't mean to shit on it by giving it a 2.5, but I mean there was just some inconsistencies that bothered me.
Over the course of the time that we've been doing this show, I have put pen to paper for about 500 movies. And out of those, only about 20, it's less than 25 of them I've rated a 5 out of 5. I don't do it very often.
Damn.
Sometimes we get lucky and maybe I'll do it a couple times in a row because I'll watch when I sat down and watched The Exorcist, that's my favorite movie ever. So I knew that one was going to be a 5 out of 5, and that's where I started. But there are other movies that could be there. It's just, we could sit here and also rank my 5 out of 5s and where they would sit, and in the scale of like my favorite movies ever. This is not close.
Oh wait, there's a spider walk in this movie, isn't there? Is there a spider walk in this movie?
There sort of is a spider walk in this movie.
Is that why you gave it a 5?
You a spider? Actually, that scene was one of my favorite parts.
Are you a spider walk guy?
I'm a spider walk guy. That's who I am. Can't change me.
Spider-Walk apologist over here, ladies and gentlemen.
Spider walks matter.
We're gonna start calling you Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
But like I said, no prequel, no sequel. Just leave it alone. They did a great job.
There will be a sequel. You know there will be a sequel.
They've said that they're not doing anything.
No shit.
I want it.
You want it. Yeah, Pete wants
it's
it.
set up for I do too. No, I agree. I want one because I want to see where the depth and the realm of this world goes. I want more.
Right. If I knew that, I probably maybe would have lowered my score a little bit.
Yeah, me too. Because my 3.5 is in the intrigue of what they're going to explain in the future.
Right. My 5 out of 5 is taking this movie just as it is, as a pure practical effects, a mastership of practical effects. They did such a good job, and the imagery that they put down right early in the movie, killed it, crushed it. I liked it. It's not the most original movie it's not the most original thing I've ever seen, but nobody can do anything original anymore. Everything's been done. So now you just try to do the best you can to tell a good story, and you use your favorite directors. You steal from your favorite directors.
I have to argue with that. I got to argue with that real quick. I don't want to argue with you because I love you, but
it's okay.
but dude, It Follows so fucking original. Like, you get a fucking.
I'm talking about the technical aspects of what the way you use the camera.
But that's the only reason I fucking rated this movie less. Like, I'm more of a less is more guy, Mm-hmm. And It Follows, a sexually transmitted fucking ghost that kills you. Sign me up all fucking day, dude. But
I'm just saying that it wasn't so much that you can't tell a good. I wasn't saying that you can't tell a good story, but what you can do with a camera.
Oh yeah.
Until they invent a panoramic camera that you can literally take in a movie and see 360 degrees.
Oh yeah.
You're limited to that. It's a limited medium. It may not seem like it at times. It may seem larger than life, but it isn't. So. But no, I mean, It Follows is a 5 out of 5 for me too. And
me too. That's my 5 out of 5.
I like it better. But that's the thing. I don't have one 5 out of 5. I have that. I have The Shining. I have The Exorcist.
I'm 5 out of 5.
Return
Shining.
of the Living Dead.
Oh, I'm on the same boat with you. Shining, Exorcist, totally 5 out of 5.
Yeah. But I think the void comes close. The void comes close to It Follows, but it doesn't quite get there. But it doesn't. But it does. I don't know. It's still a 5.
But
it's just there.
If there was a fuck ghost in this movie, would it be do you think it'd be a 5 out of 5 for me?
If there was a fuck ghost?
Yes.
Yeah, you love fuck ghosts.
Yes.
Fuck ghosts are your thing. Spider-Walks are my thing. Fuck ghosts are your thing.
I thought It Follows should have been called Fuck Ghost.
Well, on that note, next week we'll be talking about Dead Ringers, and we basically are now forcing Pete to come join us once a month. So I'm not even going to treat him like a special guest anymore.
I'm special.
I'm glad when he's here. I'm glad when he's here.
Your computer is special.
Yeah, piece of shit.
All right, everybody, toodaloo. Thanks, everyone, for listening. I know this is a long episode.
Good evening.
Use protection. You don't want no fuck ghosts.
Thank you for listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray. Written and hosted by Bloodbath, Bub, and Brett667. Edited and produced by Bloodbath. Music has been graciously provided by the Slasher Film Festival Strategy and Nightbirds. Artwork and logo have been provided by Bub. Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray is available on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, as well as @BloodGutsBluray on Twitter, at bloodgutsandbluray on Instagram, and visit our Tumblr page by going to bloodgutsandbluray.tumblr.com. For any questions regarding the show, advertising, or anything else, please send an email to bloodgutsandbluray@gmail.com. Thanks again. Get possessed.
Thank you for listening to the Court and Parts Podcast Network. To listen to more Court and Parts shows, visit courtandarts.com.